Now before we get much further, we might actually fix up some of the graphics. So let's just change these easy, medium, hard over to icons, maybe graphical icons. Also, let's center this correctly on the page, and we might actually remove the information that's in the top left hand corner here for our developer comments. So this session is basically cosmetic. So let's get underway. So we're going to start by working on the index.php page. And what I want to be able to do is change the output. At the moment we've got the header coming out, the main and the footer, but there's nothing governing the whole container. So the very first thing I'm going to do up the top is I'm going to echo out some HTML. So in this HTML I'm actually going to declare a div tag. And I'm going to give it a name, so an ID, and because it's going to be the governance of the whole page, we're going to call it container, or you could call it wrapper. I prefer container. Then we'll close off that and also close the echo. So this is actually echoing out a HTML command. Now once we've done that, we also need to close that off. So down the bottom once more, before the end of the PHP command, we're going to echo, single quote once more, then we're going to use HTML command to close the div tag, and also I'm going to use a HTML commenting tag to also put in their container, so we actually know which div tag we're closing and placing a semicolon on the end. So we're just going to save that. Once we've done that, we can then move into our CSS. So once again, we're heading into our CSS file. We haven't been here for a little while. And underneath body and before head, we're then going to create the container. Because it's a div tag, it's going to be hash container. Then we're going to open and close the braces. Next we want to do is align the text to the center. We also want to set our left and right margins to auto. This way, if we do a left margin auto, right margin auto, they sort of fight it out to put the content in the middle. And the last thing we want to do is also make sure we've got a width for our content. So we're just going to save that now. Go back, refresh our page. And now the information's in the middle. Depending on the size of your monitor, it'll always float in the middle of the page. The next thing I want to do is change easy, medium, hard to the actual buttons. Now in the previous tutorial we talked about using graphic text generators, so I suggest you head back to those videos and have a look again. If you did not make easy, medium, hard, expert then, I suggest you go pause this video and go do that now. And when you're ready, come back, make sure the files are labeled correctly and put onto your server. So I'm just going to put the files onto the server now. And you can see that I've got an easy, expert, medium, the play again, the submit button, too high, too low. Now I'm just going to close down some of my tabs at the top. Now because this page here comes from menu, this is the area which we're going to work on. So I need to go to my menu page. Currently we have a label and we also have a submit button that says game size and we put the value 10. Now we want to create the same element because the only way we can submit information on a form is through the type of element which is called submit. So once again we need to echo a submit. So I'm just going to copy this down. I'm not going to delete this line of code until after it works. Now I'm also going to create a class at this point in time, and it's going to be called menu option and then -1. And this is going to help me style all these buttons as we go along. I also need to give it its name again, and we're going to use the same variable name, which is game size. And it's also going to have the same value. And we're going to end the HTML command. So everything's the same as the line before on line 10, except for we've got a class this time. What I want to do is have an image, so I'm going to use the HTML command img ser for image SRC, sorry, image source, and then I can path through to the images. So we know we were on images / and then we can pick the button that we need, which we know is easy for my list, and then we know it's a PNG. We can then close this command off and also close the button off. I got a bit carried away with my copying and pasting, because we're actually making this image as a button, and therefore we need to actually make sure rather than being an input, it's going to be a button, and that button is going to be of type submit. Therefore it makes sense of why I'm closing it down the end here. Once again, we need to close off the PHP command because we're closing off the HTML and then the PHP. So before I go any further, I'm just going to save that, and I'm going to go refresh my page. And now I've actually got the easy appearing. Now you can see at the moment the background isn't transparent, and we'll fix that a little bit later. But let's just click on easy, and you can see that we've gone through and it's carried the random number still through. Let's go back and test it one more time. It's now 6. So we know that the button click now is carrying through the information rather than clicking on this little button here. So now I can delete this information from my file. Now that I don't need these echoes, I'm just going to delete them completely out, but I'm going to keep the break on the end. If you want to see the whole line, we can go up to view, and then we can toggle word wrap. You can actually see it now revolve around. So 9 is over 2, like essentially 2 lines, but it's actually only 1 line of code. So I'm now going to pick this up. I'm going to copy it and I'm going to paste it over the medium. So rather than getting the easy image, this time I want the medium. And also I want to change its value to 100. Once again, I'm going to paste it on the next line of code. This one's going to be hard. It's going to be 1,000. And for the last one, it's going to be expert. And it's going to be 10,000. So I'm just going to save that now and see if the page loads correctly. With a refresh, there you go. Now we've got all our buttons. Let's click on hard. You can see it come through as 31. Click on hard again, 646. So it's working well at the moment. The last thing I want to do is stylize this so we don't have any backgrounds. And we'll do that in the next video.